So you were telling me there are some first cousins that are trying to.
Well, there's a couple in Utah that crossed the border into Colorado to get married because they could not get married in Utah because they are first cousins.
So Colorado lets you be married if you're a first cousin?
Rick, Colorado pretty much will let you do anything the heck you want to do.
I was about to
I don't know if you've seen the news.
Yeah, I was about to
say. Marriage has been under attack for many, many years now. We now have same gender. We have, just define your gender today. We have bathroom controversy. We have, it's spilled into all of this. And we said a long time ago that, once we have opened the door on this, it'll be anything goes.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think you'll see a big push for this to be corrected also in their mind. The problem is that if you are first cousins with somebody, you share 12.5% DNA with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not good if you have children.
No, it's not.
Now, and you can look at the numbers on that and whatever. Both of these folks knew each other very well growing up as kids because they were first cousins.
Correct.
And both, I think, if I understood the story right, had been married and divorced, and they just felt like they always should be together. If you listen to them. Now, if you are first cousins and you share 12.5% of your DNA. Your kids are, if you have offspring, they're 4 to 7% chance that they will have a genetic disorder to begin with, right out of the gate, as opposed to the general population, which is about 3 to 4%. So that's one reason in our country we've had rules that you could not marry your first cousin.
Well, the Democrats
Plus,
say,
it's weird.
Well, the Democrats say no big deal. If you have a kid you don't want, just kill it.
That's true. This is nothing compared to that.
So if the kid's born, it's got some problems. Even if it's born, just tell the doctor to handle it. So I guess that'd solve the problem.
So now what they have done, they've gone back to Utah, and they are they're leading a charge now to change Utah's laws to allow first cousins to get married. Now, you could get married if you were over 65 or you were 55 and declared that you could not have children medically.
Right.
Well, and I was going to ask because there's that shows me that they are only concerned about the genetic issues that are prominent.
Yeah.
So if you had a first cousin that was not blood kin to you, could you also get an exemption?
Yeah, I think you could in that case.
Yeah,
if you're adopted or something like that, you'd be out.
Yeah.
Now, that
doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count then.
Right.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I'm shocked that this story is coming out of Utah and not Alabama.
Well, that's the thing. Here's Colorado allowing something that Alabama doesn't allow.
Hey, thank God it ain't us for a change.
I know.
right.
So this is the first headline this week that was not us.
It's usually us.
Right.
We've had a banner a few weeks, by the way.
Yeah.
Banner.
Now, that's a creepy picture there.
Yeah. There's just
they grew up.
Did they?
Buds.
But guys, there's got to be something that's a turn off when your mom or dad is like brother and sister with the other parents. That's just
right. Yeah, that's weird.
Rick, she realized she was in love with her cousin.
We can't have that.
She was in the second grade, she says.
But like your mom, your mom is my dad's sister. Does that not take the switch and turn it off?
When you got 3 titles to what you are to each other, cousin, nephew,
father-in-law,
mother-in-law, nephew. You got a lot of titles that apply. That's usually you're off.
You shouldn't be uncle and father-in-law.
Yeah,
right?
that's my point.
That should not happen.
You shouldn't be son-in-law and nephew.
Right.
And that seems like that'd be one of those things where everybody just they'd be a wake-up call. Everybody, but I go back to Bubba's original.
Well, I think that's why. I mean, the children, the offspring issue is why it was always a problem to begin with.
Well, back to Bubba's original point and a point we've made here on the program, but if we are going out as a country, which I oppose, and we're saying we have no standard on marriage, or we had a standard and we're changing it, when do you stop changing it?
That's true.
It's anything goes. You're going to have pedophiles. You're going to have bestiality. I mean, you're going to have everything. You marry a pine tree if you want to. I mean, it's you're going to have no way to go, no, that's too far.
Well,
because the winds of society will blow you all over the place. And it's just it just seems like it's you know the ones who are behind the curve on this. This is the one who what do you call them, polygamists that have multiple
Back
wives?
to Utah. Yeah. Back to Utah.
You know they're behind the curve. I would have thought they
should have been the next ones
Really, they should have been ahead of the same sex couples. If you just look at the the way this ought to evolve out of that, so to speak.
As we talking about the sister wives,
as we said this before. All right, I'm with you. I think they should have been. So first of all,
we should have been 2, if not 3, for sure.
As a civilized society, we used to say marriage is a man and a woman, one man, one woman.
Right.
All right, and that's what we said. And we said let's hold to that. We think that's the brings the least amount of chaos. And so then somebody came up and said, well, we can't deny people of the same gender access to marriage. And we all argued about that, and then we had 2 completely 180 decisions by the Supreme Court, which I know we've said that many times. I won't repeat it. And we decided that federally we would force states to condone, even though the Constitution forbid this. We just overrode that and said we're not going to adhere to, if it's not covered here, then it's a state's issue. We're going to make the states acknowledge same-gender marriage.
Right.
At that point, because this is I'm gonna get out of pedophiles. I'm going to get out of bestiality, even though I think we'll get there. I'm going to take those, and let me tell you why. Because the far left will say, as long as the people in the relationship both can make a judgment that they're willing to be in the relationship, nobody's being forced to be in the relationship. So I'm going to take those 2 and put them on the bench, even though they're eventually coming on the field. I'm going to put them in the bench because eventually those people will say, well, my dog barked to me and said it was okay, and this child is fine with this, and the child's going to say, I'm good with it.
He's old enough to understand.
Yeah, he's old enough to understand. Now, we'll get there, but I'm back to sister wives. The day that we said the standard is if everybody's willing and are adults and can make their own decision, who are we to deny them marriage? How the polygamists were not standing in line saying, we are next. All these women are fine with this. I'm fine with it. We're all adults. How can you deny us marriage? Based on our standards today, we cannot deny the polygamous marriage. We can't. And I don't know that we can deny the cousins based on these standards.
Oh, no.
And because the cousins,
the cousins, I mean, the others are a much further stretch.
Now, I think we should have stuck with the original standard. Because it seems came from a pretty good source, in my opinion.
Right.
But if we're going to say, as long as everybody's adult and as long as everybody has the ability to make their own decisions, we can't deny them marriage. You can't deny polygamous marriage, and you can't deny cousins, really. Especially if we allow people also an out on a child if they don't want it.
Right. Yeah. What is the legal? How close can you be? And is that state to state how they decide that? Now, I've always heard third cousins were okay, even though, socially you caught a few jokes about it. But so first and second were the ones off limits because of the genetic
definitely
issue
first.
There. Yeah, if you're blood related.
We all agreed on the first.
We're talking about marriage. Really.
I still find it odd that Colorado allows first cousins to get married and Alabama, Mississippi doesn't.
Or do they?
Or do we?
Somebody says we do.
Maybe we do. We may allow that.
Yeah.
I thought it had something to do with legalizing marijuana, then cousins were getting married.
I know. Everything looked a little better.
We'll take phone calls next.
Yeah. Well, it puts a lot of pressure on you. You go to family reunions now, you got to try to look your best. You can't relax. Just enjoy everybody.
Yeah, you got to fix yourself up.
Yep.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.